5 gun law updates are moving right now, and one bad guess on any of them could turn your normal carry routine into a criminal case. Most gun owners will not hear about these changes until after they matter, and by then, the mistake is already made. Quick question before we continue. Are you subscribed? Because what I'm about to break down could save you from a charge, a permit denial, or a nightmare traffic stop in the wrong state. Hit that subscribe button right now, because this channel is built for people who carry and do not want surprises. Let's get right into it. As of right now, there are 5 updates you need on your radar. Some are bills, some are court fights, some are rules already taking effect. And that matters, because your concealed carry routine is not just about your holster and your permit anymore. It is about where you drive, where you stop for lunch, where you park, and even whether a business owner gave permission without you realizing you needed it. First update, and this is the big national one, is federal concealed carry reciprocity. In plain English, reciprocity means one state agrees to honor another state's carry permit. Right now, that system is a patchwork. You may be legal in one state at 9 a.m. and illegal across the border at 9:30. There is a federal bill in Congress called the Constitutional Concealed Carry Reciprocity Act. There is a House version and a Senate version. The basic idea is simple. If you can legally carry concealed in your home state, the bill would create a federal framework for carrying in another state that also allows concealed carry. Sounds huge, right? It is huge. But here is what most people get wrong. This is not the same as saying nationwide carry is already here. It is not. This is still a proposal, not settled law. And that matters because a lot of people hear the headline, then act like the law already changed. Don't do that. If you travel with a handgun, keep following the rules that exist today, not the rules you hope are coming tomorrow. Here's a hypothetical example to explain this. Now let's say you live in a permit-friendly state. You carry every day. You drive 2 states over for work. You heard somebody at the range say, Congress fixed reciprocity. But they didn't. If you cross into a state that does not honor your permit under current law, your routine carry setup could suddenly create a serious problem. That is why this first update matters so much. Even talk about reciprocity can make people sloppy before the law actually changes. Now, this is where it gets interesting. Even if a federal reciprocity bill ever passes, that would not mean every carry rule everywhere becomes identical. You would still need to know local location bans, transport rules, and how that state treats things like bars, posted property, or public buildings. In other words, I have a permit is never the whole answer. The real question is, where am I, and what does this state say I can do here? Second update is New Jersey, and this is the part that shocked a lot of people. A major court fight over New Jersey's so-called sensitive places law ended with most of that law being upheld. Let me translate that into normal English. A sensitive place is a place where the state says you cannot carry, even if you normally have the legal right to carry elsewhere. Why should you care if you do not live in New Jersey? Because New Jersey is one of the clearest examples of what states are trying after the Supreme Court. Is Bruin decision. States are not always banning carry everywhere. Instead, they are making a long list of places where carry is off limits. And if that list keeps growing, your permit becomes less useful in real life. Here's what that looks like on the ground. Imagine you are traveling. You stop near the beach, then you walk by a playground, then you meet friends near a bar or concert venue. In some places, that whole routine is packed with legal danger. You may think, I'm licensed, so I'm good. But the truth is, the location itself may be the problem. That is the theme you need to watch in 2026 and beyond. The fight is no longer only about whether you can carry. It is about where exactly the state says you cannot. And that can change your routine without changing your permit card. If you're finding this helpful, imagine what you'll learn in my next video about the 5 words that can protect you when police ask about your gun during a stop. Subscribe so you don't miss it, because the details are where good people get trapped. Third update is Maryland, and this one is a perfect example of why you cannot rely on one simple rule. A federal appeals court mostly upheld Maryland's carry restrictions in a long list of places. We are talking government buildings, schools, healthcare facilities, public transportation, parks, museums, stadiums, casinos, and places that sell alcohol for on-site drinking. That is a lot. But here's the crazy part. The same court also struck down Maryland's rule on private property that was open to the public. That rule had basically flipped the normal assumption. Instead of, you can carry unless the owner says no, it worked more like, you cannot carry unless the owner clearly says yes. The court said no to that part. Do you see why this matters? One rule got upheld, another got knocked out. So if you hear somebody say, Maryland banned carry everywhere, that is wrong. If somebody else says, Maryland lost, so the whole thing is dead, that is also wrong. The truth is mixed, and mixed rules are dangerous because they create false confidence. Picture a normal day. You leave home carrying legally, you stop at a government office, then a hospital, then you ride public transit. Then you grab dinner at a place that serves alcohol. Even if you never touch a drop, the location itself may matter. That is why your old routine may not be safe anymore in states with these newer sensitive place laws. Now, quick legal note, this is educational information, not legal advice. Always consult an attorney for your specific situation. And let me add one more thing here. Most people think the only legal question is, can I carry? But the better question is, can I carry here, right now, during this exact part of my day? That one change in mindset can save you from a major mistake. Fourth update is Hawaii, and this may become one of the biggest concealed carry cases in the country. The case is called Wolford v. Lopez. The core issue is simple, but the effect is massive. Hawaii has a rule that treats private property open to the public as off-limits for licensed carriers unless the owner gives express permission. In plain English, think of stores, restaurants, and other businesses. Under that kind of rule, you're not asking, did they post a no-gun sign? You are asking, did they clearly say I can carry here? That flips the default rule upside down. And when a rule flips the default like that, your routine changes fast. Instead of walking into a place unless told not to, you may need clear permission first. If you guess wrong, you are the one on the hook. The lower court rulings around Hawaii already allowed a lot of restrictions to stand, including bans tied to places like bars, restaurants serving alcohol, beaches, and parks, while blocking only some parts. The Supreme Court agreed to hear the private property question, which tells you this issue is not small. It is a national issue hiding inside one state case. Hey, 73% of people watching right now aren't subscribed. Don't be part of that group. Join the gun owners who come here first when these court fights start changing real-life carry. Click subscribe, because by the time the evening news covers this stuff, it's usually way too late. Now, let me explain why Hawaii matters, even if you never plan to visit Hawaii. Because courts and lawmakers watch each other. If one rule survives, another state may copy it. If one rule gets rejected, lawyers will use that result in the next fight somewhere else. So when you hear private property default ban, do not tune out. That phrase could end up shaping what happens in your own state. And here's the part nobody's talking about enough. Private property is a huge part of your daily life. Grocery stores, gas stations, pharmacies, parking lots, restaurants, shopping centers. If the rule becomes no carry unless permission is given, your permit can become much weaker in practice, even if nobody ever says the permit itself is invalid. Fifth update is Colorado, and this one is more practical than flashy, which means a lot of people miss it. Colorado changed its concealed handgun permit training rules, and those changes took effect in 2025. If you are applying for a new permit there, the training now has to meet tighter standards. It must be in person. It must be taught by a verified instructor. It includes a written test and live fire work, and the class must be completed within a much shorter time before you apply. For new applicants, the class has to be at least 8 hours. For renewals, there are new refresher standards too, unless you fit one of the exceptions. That means your routine is no longer just, I took a class years ago, so I'm good. In some cases, that old mindset can leave you short when renewal time hits. Why does this matter outside Colorado? Because states are watching two things very closely right now. First, they're watching where they can restrict carry. Second, they're watching how much training and paperwork they can require before or during the permit process. So even if your state has not changed yet, this is the model to watch. Here's a hypothetical example. Say you're a permit holder who renews late because life gets busy. Work, kids, bills, normal stuff. You assume the old training certificate still works. It doesn't. Your permit lapses. Then you take a road trip thinking you still have reciprocity protection. But if your permit status changed and you did not catch it, your travel routine may be based on a card that no longer protects you the way you think it does. That is why the biggest mistake is not always carrying in the wrong place. Sometimes the biggest mistake is assuming your paperwork is still solid when the rules changed under you. So what should your concealed carry routine look like now? Keep it simple. First, check your permit status and your renewal window. Not what you think it is, what it actually is. Second, if you travel, check the destination state and every state you drive through. Don't just check reciprocity. Check location bands too. Third, treat sensitive places like a moving target. Schools, hospitals, government buildings, parks, beaches, bars, transit, and event spaces may all have different rules depending on the state. Fourth, pay attention to private property rules. In some places, a posted sign matters. In other places, the whole default rule may be changing. Fifth, do not assume permitless carry makes permits useless. Most people think, my state went permitless, so I never need a permit again. But the truth is, permits still matter for travel, reciprocity, and sometimes even smoother interactions with law enforcement. And sixth, stop taking legal advice from one sentence on social media. I know that sounds harsh, but you know I'm right. A 10-second clip can leave out the one exception that changes everything. Laws change fast, court rulings change faster, and one new decision can wreck the carry routine you've used for years. Subscribe now, because in the next video, I'm going to show you exactly how to build a travel carry checklist that keeps you from getting blindsided by a border crossing, a posted property rule, or a traffic stop. Here's the bottom line. Your concealed carry routine is no longer just about whether you can legally own a gun or legally carry a gun. It is about where you go, how your state handles permits, what other states recognize, and whether courts are redrawing the map faster than you realize. If you take one thing from this video, let it be this. Never assume yesterday's carry habit is still safe today. Stay sharp, stay updated, and stay humble enough to double-check the rule before you walk through that door. And if this video helped you protect your rights and your freedom, hit subscribe and stick with this community. I spend the time digging through these changes so you do not get caught off guard. Final reminder, in simple terms, this video is for education only, not personal legal advice. If you have a real case, a stop, or a charge, talk to a qualified attorney in your state right away.